Warning: the following images or content may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This is a video on how to chop up a placenta. I know what you're thinking, why would you need to do that? Well, it helps with postpartum depression. So, sharpen your knives, and let's get to work. You want to pull this thing out of the container like a dead jellyfish, flip it over, slice open this membrane. It looks like a human brain. Pretty disgusting. So we'll start by removing the rubber band, also known as the umbilical cord. Once you get that cut off, you can discard it. You're not going to need it since the baby's already out. And you'll slice off this membrane. Stuff is pretty slimy, pretty slick, kind of hard to cut through, so I would recommend sharpening your knives. And then you'll just discard all this tissue. Just put it in a biohazard bag, since everybody has those handy. Yeah, just get that out of the way, and then you'll want to center this up so it's a little bit more photogenic, and clean it off so it looks pretty. Clean the ketchup off your knife blade there, and go ahead and start slicing this up in 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick pieces. And you can go a little bit thicker or thinner. Kind of has the texture of filet mignon, but a little bit more disgusting looking. So you can slice these about 1/4 inch thick. Anything thicker than that, I've found, will take longer to dehydrate in the oven. So you'll just kind of lay these out. It's pretty much just like chopping a steak. Not a whole lot to it. It's just a little bit more fatty and more porous content. Really bloody, really slimy. Not a very enjoyable job. So lay this out kind of like you would a steak. We're going to bake it in the oven, and clean it off, lay it out so it looks pretty, makes for a good video thumbnail. And there's the umbilical cord. You could cut it up, but it's really kind of gristle-like, so I wouldn't recommend it. Lower your oven down to 170. Most ovens are 175, but we got a special model. Throw those things in about 8 hours, and I like to prop the door open, help remove some of that humidity for at least the first hour. I couldn't leave it too long. After about an hour, my wife said the house is stinking, close that door. So flip these over. They're a little bit tender on the bottom side. Stick them back in the oven for another 2 or 3 hours. And this is what the final texture looks like. And if you see some of the thicker ones, if you break them open, they're still raw inside. So this is where I began to cut it up with a pair of really heavy-duty scissors. This process probably took about 15-20 minutes. It was a little bit time consuming, but you know, the kids were asleep, so it was kind of nice. I was able to think. Put that back in the oven. Close the door. So you put this in a food processor for about 5-7 minutes. And it'll finally grind it into this powder. It's similar to concrete dust, just a little bit more clumpy, but you can see the texture there.
This one fell out too. One too will fell out, Daddy. There's too much in it.
Then you'll dump this onto your trays after you've filled them. You'll split the pills in half so that half goes in the bottom and half goes on the top. And scrape the remaining balance into a container. Flip it over, and then when you compress it, it presses the pills together. It's actually kind of enjoyable to do. Give it just extra squeeze. Some of them didn't quite snap down all the way, but once you take it apart, you'll see how they look. Some need to be pressed down manually by hand, and that just helps close up that air gap and seal the pills together.
It's full.
And that made 100 of them. This whole container
Yeah.
made 237 pills.
Oh, Dad.
I'm sorry.
That's alright.
You forgive me?
Yes.
It's a little bit time consuming. This process takes probably about an hour from beginning to end.
Daddy, I'm done with this.
Okay, right on.
So this is round 2, the second 100 of the pills. So, and then I did one more batch that was about 37 more pills. So thanks for watching.